Thanks, Kimberly. It's been a long, long time since I've seen so many dark suits and red ties. I kind of feel like I'm back home. As Kimberly said, I started my career in financial management, and so I kind of know things from that side of the table. But now, as a geriatric care management, you're something different for me. You are a trusted advisor, because I work now with families who are struggling with elder care issues in their families. They're having a loved one often who's having a hard time, and the family is often having a hard time because of that. And I see families all the time who have plenty of resources and don't know what to do. And when they don't know what to do, the people they turn to are their trusted advisors, their attorney, their doctor, their financial advisor. And that's really who we have in the room today. So what I'm hoping to do is to give you an overview of how it goes when there's an elder care issue in a family, so that you'll feel like you kind of know what to expect. And then I want to give you a whole bunch of resources that you'll have at your disposal, so that when your clients come to you with these kinds of things, that you'll know what the deal is and what to do. So, a trusted advisor, why? Why you? Why are people going to come to you when they have a trouble in their family? You're a technical expert. That makes you somebody that they respect. They already respect because of what you're doing for them. You provide solutions. So when they're looking around for, I've got this problem and I don't know what to do, who is it they're going to think about? You're a symbol of protection. When you're with your clients, that's part of what you're doing. You're helping to protect them and build a life for them. So this is just kind of an extension of what you're already doing for them. So they will look to you for advice, and you will find yourself in these situations often because there is money involved. When people need care, it costs money, and there are folks in this room that handle money. There are attorneys in this room, and those issues start to emerge when people start having elder care issues in their families. And also because this is a room full of human beings, and I know that it makes a difference for you what you can do for these folks. And when you're able to make a difference in the life of somebody, it makes a difference in your life. The quote I have on the top of this slide is something that I heard in a conversation when Jürgen Vick over at Merrill Lynch brought me into a client situation of his where he had a family who was struggling with elder care issues. We had a meeting, and on the way out of his office, on the way down the elevator, this couple who was clients of his said to me, the reason I like having him as my financial advisor is because he's interested in the quality of my life, not just the quantity of my money. So these people are looking to you to help them have quality of life, and sometimes it doesn't have to do just with something legal or something financial. It has to do with something else, and I'm hoping to give you some access to that. So, why me? Kimberly talked a little bit about me. Hopefully I speak your language, and I speak the language of your clients. I have a financial background. I feel comfortable in this room. I started my career at Deloitte, Haskins & Sells. Who remembers the Big Eight? Okay, that few, the gray hairs in the room remember where I started my career. I know things from that side. I was an auditor. I don't have tax expertise. So as an auditor, I want to make sure everything's going well. So, I bring that to what I'm doing now. So I have a financial background, and I know what it's. I've been an executive. I was the CFO of an $800 million division of a $1.5 billion company. I can speak with your clients as somebody that I can relate to. I'm an entrepreneur. 2 hours before I got here, I installed my own printer at home. So, you learn how to do it all. And when you're a geriatric care manager, boy, soup to nuts. People have lives. Everything is in a life. And so you figure out how to do whatever needs to be done. And now I'm in elder care. So I get to see it from both sides. Kimberly talked about some of the things that I'm doing. Something I wanted you to make you be aware of as you're looking at this presentation, and I didn't bring handouts with me because I had this presentation published out on SlideShare for you, and I left on the table near your sugar bowl everybody's sugar bowl, there are some business cards of mine, and on the back there is a link to this presentation, which you can find out on SlideShare. The blue underlines on this presentation are hot links. So I have put behind some of this. You'll see as we go along. This is a lot of stuff about me, but as we go along, there'll be a lot of resources that you can bring that SlideShare presentation up, click through, and you'll get to a lot of great content. I told you I wanted you to have some resources that when something happens, you'll know what you can do. Also, over there, Kimberly was talking about cameras. My newest hobby is video. So over there is a video camera. And I'm taping myself giving you this presentation because if I can get it all to work, and I've been successful a couple times, but no promises because it is technology. If I can get it to work, then I will be publishing on YouTube this presentation with me narrating it. So you'll be able to go back and listen to anything that you may have missed or share it with people. So again, just in my effort to share things that are practical for you to use, that's what's going on with this presentation when you see the things that are blue underlined. So Cynthia, sorry, Kimberly talked to you about most of this. I'll talk to you a little bit about what I do as CARES there, so you kind of know my perspective, but I wanted to point out a few of these things as resources for you if you're interested. The Aging in Place Business Roundtable. I have Aging in Place Business Roundtable friends here. Who are you? We've got a few people who participate in that with me at the Chamber. What it is a group of, well, we have between, I'd say, 50 and 70 people at that meeting every month. It is senior service providers that get together in order to know each other so that when we have a client that has a need, we'll know where we can send them. We set it up so that we socialize like you were here, and that we share information about our businesses so that we can make good referrals to each other and serve our clients well. If you're interested in participating in that, talk to me, click through the link, that'll give you information. We have our meetings on the first Friday of the month. Everybody's welcome to visit, and if you're a Chamber member, you can come all the time. So if you're interested in doing more networking related to serving older clients or kind of boomer clients, then please visit us there. CVilleSeniors.org is a website that you can set up a profile if you want to have more of a presence to people that are looking for services, and we post out there events that we're doing and blog posts about new things that are happening, and I share all that stuff on Facebook and Twitter. So just a resource for you to network if you want to. And then a couple of things that I do, my blog and my newsletter is just kind of sharing information. I also profile businesses in that newsletter. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, talk to me afterwards. So just so you kind of know where I'm coming from when I'm talking to you, what we do at CARE is there. We are geriatric care managers. Our job is to make things work for families. If there's a family who's having an issue with elder care, we get in there and we resolve it. It really doesn't matter what it is. So I'll take you through kind of a typical scenario of what happens when there's elder care issues so you can kind of see how it happens. But our job is to make sure everything works. Often with clients, we are taking them to the doctor. We are writing down everything the doctor says. We are bringing up med lists. We remember the medical history. So we're keeping everything on track for our clients. We also take all that information back. We put it on a website for our client families that emails everybody. So if you've got client families that are all over the world and everybody's sort of concerned about what's happening with mom, this emails everyone so they can see all at the same time, oh, we went to see her today, here's what's going on with her hearing aids, we will post up, here's the instructions on how they work when you're visiting her next time. If they don't work, then this is what you do. So we use communication to kind of keep everybody in the loop. We will do everything from, if the roof needs to be fixed or if the dog needs to be taken to the vet, and then we get in there and do what needs to be done. We are also refer to professionals. I always say, if there's something that someone else can do better or cheaper, then we bring them in. So we're always happy to know you because we want to, when our clients need your services, we want to be able to refer them to you. So as I'm speaking to you, this is the world that I'm in now with my clients. So I just want to kind of talk about you, like what happens when clients are coming to you. Just kind of a quick, I'm expecting that many of you are doing these kinds of things with your clients routinely. This is, kind of what your job normally is. And later I'm going to give you just a few little, cutesy little things that might help with that a little bit. But basically, you know your job here. But then often you will get pulled into something a little bit different, which I'm kind of calling your extended role. This is where things start to get kind of gray, and this is where I want to give you some things that you can utilize. So, managing cognitive impairment, dementia, and capacity. So this is where you have a client come to you and say, I'm starting to worry about Mom. I'm not sure she can manage the money anymore. She's starting to, make decisions I don't understand, and I'm starting to get worried. So then you start getting kind of pulled into that conversation. Advanced medical directives and do not resuscitate orders. This is getting into health care, but still, if there's a client family where there's somebody who has a serious illness, everybody wants to be able to make their own decisions. And again, people don't often know how to do this or how to start or where to go. And they may well be coming to you to talk about that. And I'm going to get into a little bit more detail on a few of these, just to kind of remind you about what these things are people might be asking you for. Managing care expenses. Mom's going to have to go into assisted living. How are we going to pay for that? So then you start talking about, where the assets are, how they can be utilized, that sort of thing. And in that whole conversation, you're trying to manage the money and make good decisions. Decisions about what? What are our options? So then you start getting into the world of what are we, what can we do? What are our choices? As you get kind of pulled into this role, I think it can really be a win-win for everybody. If you can give your clients a solution that they need, they benefit, and if you can do it without getting kind of sidetracked, because oh my goodness, this can go on forever. So you want to be able to be who you are and do your professional role. But if you can give your clients a solution while staying there, then everybody's winning. You by being willing to walk around a little bit in this space of I'm worried about my mom, you kind of deepen that personal relationship with them, and they realize that this isn't just about the money. It's not just about the contract. This is about their life. You care about them. And in that moment when somebody says to you, I don't know what I would have done without you, you're not just doing your job. You're making a difference in somebody's life. I have a client that I adore, and I was at her over at University Village and helping her do something with a light in her house, like put up a Velcro light or something. So I managed to get the Velcro working. And she said the following to me. She said, "You are a genius." I spent, how many years in corporate finance, and, nobody ever said I was a genius. So I said, oh, no, now I'm in this for the long haul because there's rewards in it. So lots of warm fuzzies for you. Without doing, too much, you can make a huge difference in somebody's life. If you are interested in kind of, I'm going to tell you who to go to, where to look, who to refer to, but if you want to kind of get more involved in this yourself, then there's some things you can do. I became a certified senior advisor. That is a designation based on absorbing certain materials, which you can do through a book or through a course, and then taking an exam to pass the certification requirements. That is a program that was created by financial planners for financial planners in order to broaden their knowledge beyond just the finances into all the rest of elder care. So people feel like they kind of know how to speak with people and what the issues are. If I brought the book, so if you are interested in that, then you can kind of flip through this thing and see, what's in here. So if you want to go further, it's something that's an option for you. Then there's local information and referral sources. I'm going to tell you what those are. And networking opportunities, like I said, like the Aging in Place Business Roundtable, where you can get connected with people. Okay, typical scenario. This is what it's like when somebody comes to you with an issue. This is how it typically goes with kind of elder care problems. So let's say this is your client's, it's your client's parents we're talking about. It could be your client's spouse, it could be your client, could be really anybody, but let's just say it's their parents. Typically, they're kind of hanging on. They're doing all right. They're taking care of each other. Everything's sort of on an even keel, but everybody's kind of waiting for what's going to happen. Something happens suddenly because, stepping back, we've had lots of people here who do planning work, and from what I've seen so far, it's hard to get people to plan. They don't want to plan. They don't want to talk about getting older. They don't want to talk about running out of money. They don't want to talk about any of this stuff. So they're typically only willing to talk about it when something goes terribly wrong. So something goes terribly wrong. Mom falls. Somebody has a stroke. Maybe there's a spouse who's been caring for and maybe covering for the other spouse, that they die, and now we're in a crisis. Is typically the way it goes. So your client's going to get on that, leave their job in Charlottesville or DC or like wherever they are, and they're going to get on that plane. They're going to go wherever they need to go in order to manage the situation and hope everything is covered at the office. Then they're going to be having to handle these short-term things like, oh no, mom broke her hip. What are we going to do now? Are we going to have to move her somewhere? Where? Who's going to care for her? Like, how are we going to pay for it? So they're having to get into this crisis mode on these kinds of things. In that effort, family dynamics. One, sibling thinks one thing should happen. One sibling thinks the other thing should happen. Everybody starts thinking about the money, and oh no, what about the house? And so that starts to get kind of messy, typically. Then once that, mom is, in rehab and things are kind of stabilized and she's going to get, discharged to home care, so things are sort of kind of okay. Then the longer term issues start coming about, like, okay, are we going to have to start talking about power of attorney? It brings to mind, oh gosh, they never did a will. Should they be doing a trust? The advanced directive issues, all these things start kind of now becoming accessible to people because there's an urgency. After that's resolved, there is an opportunity for your clients to start thinking about their own situations, when before, that wasn't going to happen to them or, anybody. I always joke that we all think that the way we're going to go is going to be hit by lightning, on the golf course, and it's going to be all over, we're never going to have to deal with any of this stuff. But once you see your parents going through it, then there's an opportunity to have some of those conversations with them that they may not have been willing to have otherwise. So that's kind of how it goes. I told you I was going to give you some just little cutesy things about managing the role that you do every day that you know better than I know it. I wanted you to make you aware of this article that was recently in the Wall Street Journal, the 25 documents you need before you die. It looks kind of like this. It's got an article and it's got a little picture that has all the documents. So if you just kind of wanted to bone up and say, what is it that I should really have my clients pulling together in order to have their records be complete, this is a pretty good guide. There's a lot of them, but this is a decent one. And as a professional, you could pull something together yourself. It's not difficult to do, and a lot of people do that. So that's something for you to just look at. Again, these links are hot, so when you go on SlideShare, you'll be able to go and see those. We have attorneys in the room. I know we have elder law specialists in the room because they are my pals and work with me and come with me to the Aging in Place Business Roundtable. So if that is not your thing, you want to talk to them, they'll be delighted to talk to you because this stuff changes, it's intricate, and you want some advice there. Just a few common misperceptions. We have a lot of people know this. We got a few people, youngsters in the room that may never have thought about this before. But a lot of times people, mom needs to go into assisted living. Medicare is going to pay for that, right? No. Medicare doesn't pay for assisted living. It is very expensive. It's somewhere between $3,000 and $6,000 a month. It is private pay. So that, is a huge, huge drain. The insurance folks know that. Long-term care insurance is becoming a big, something that people are really looking carefully about. But that is still a big misconception. Also, people think it pays for long-term home care. Mom's at home, she's okay, but she needs somebody to come in, companion, an aide. No, Medicare will pay for it for a short period of time until till she stops getting better, and then it goes away. All of that is private pay. People have to plan for these things. Another one, all we have to do is switch things around a little bit, and mom can give me the house and all her stuff, and then she won't have anything, and she'll be able to go on Medicaid, and Medicaid will pay for her long-term care. That they're sort of onto that. Again, the attorneys or the planners that are in that arena, who there are, I'm sure, people in this room that do that. will tell you no longer the case. There's a 5-year look-back period that you can do planning. And again, I'm a little bit stepping outside my expertise. There are people here that will know better. But I just wanted you to know that people will sort of think that they can just retitle a house and, it's handled. And that's not the case. It takes a lot longer planning and maybe even some risk-taking to do that. So just, things to think about for your clients. So just a little, I have it under misconceptions, but it's really not. I need to move that little bullet point over. I wanted you to know there's a tax credit for certain home modifications that people do. In the state of Virginia, if you do certain kind of modifications that make your house more accessible, mom, has a problem moving around now, and she needs a ramp or something to modify the house to make it so she can move around, that you can get tax credits for that. So the link behind that will tell you how that's done. So that's kind of the, what the role you're used to. I just wanted to give you a few things that I was aware of there. The extended role, like things that you're not necessarily used to doing or expecting to do. Advanced medical directives. These are, living wills or giving somebody your health care, making somebody your health care agent. So if you're incapacitated, somebody can make your decisions. Terry Schiavo, I don't need to say anymore. Everybody, is aware that this is something we need to plan for. That is one thing. There's another thing called a do not resuscitate order. They are separate things, and they require different. They require to be set up different ways. So you want to know, if you're getting kind of pulled into that, you want to know that there are details. You want to partner with somebody who knows them. Behind these links are the details. Behind the Advanced Medical Directives link is a newsletter I did that kind of talks about the process. It shows me having my advanced directive witnessed by some friends of mine in the Aging in Place Business Roundtable, and gives links to things like where you need to file them, what links to the Virginia law, and that kind of thing. The do not resuscitate orders, I want to make you aware of a change in that happened in the summer. The way do not resuscitate orders have been working is you have had to have a physician on a yellow piece of paper create this do not resuscitate order, and the original one has to be present, et cetera, et cetera. Now you're allowed to use a legible copy of that do not resuscitate order. That is now usable. Behind this link is the long and short of it. What exactly has to be present for that do not resuscitate order to be something people can follow. But also, and this is something that I was an auditor, I'm used to paper, you guys are used to paper, these don't work unless somebody knows that they exist. So you have to be sure that they are in a place where somebody's going to find it. Behind, I think yes, there's a link there that says obvious to first responders. Behind that link is a presentation made at the Aging in Place Business Roundtable by a paramedic and a paramedic educator who came and talked to us about what it's like to be a paramedic going out to people's houses and how this actually goes. And she said things like, we can't find your house, and taught us how to resolve that. But first responders need to be able to find this stuff. So if it's in the safe deposit box, it ain't going to matter. The do not resuscitate orders need to be on the refrigerator. The advanced directives, there are places to file them in medical records at both hospitals. And I have, behind that link, the people and the address to send the advanced directives to. Also, if you've got a healthcare agent that you're putting in there, hello, they need to know that they're the agent. They need to have a copy of that thing so they know what to do. So there are some practicalities about those things actually being useful. There are also different laws by state. They're all kind of a little bit different. I say in here, consider the 5 wishes document. Who knows about 5 wishes? Okay, a few people. So this is the 5 wishes document. This is an advanced directive document that is legal in most states. They have, these people, these Five Wishes people organization have gone around and created one and gotten everybody to agree that this one works. What I like about it especially is that it's not legalese. So I have a couple copies up here. You have to kind of buy these things. I think they're $5 a piece or something. But I have, you can come and take a look at these. They are in the language of how somebody wants to actually be cared for. And what I like about it is it starts a conversation. You can read this and go, gosh, you know, I never really thought about that. Yeah, I do want that, or I don't want that. It also includes things like, after I'm dead, what do I want done? Do I want a funeral? Do I want to be cremated? Do I want, you know, what do I want? And people don't necessarily think about these things. Once they start reading this document, start thinking about things that they wouldn't, they might not necessarily have thought about. It's more accessible. So this is an option. Again, we've got attorneys in the room who are going to have opinions of their own. You should talk to them about this too. But this is something that I found works pretty well and is kind of accessible. Be sure that your the people that need to have health care information about your clients have HIPAA forms signed. This is the Health Care Accountability Portability Act, right? And it's supposed to protect your health care information. It does that. It also sets up barriers so that something can happen like you show up from out of town and because your mom's, you know, sick, and they look at you and say, well, I can't talk to you. You're not, you know, who are you? When we work with clients, we get these forms signed. When you go into the doctor, next time you're with your mom and you go to the doctor and they're going to, you know, ask them at the front desk, hey, you know, what HIPAA forms do I need to sign for you guys? So if I need to call and ask about her care, that you know, I can get through the system. That still is kind of working itself out. I've been looking for the master HIPAA form that we can just take everywhere, and I'm still working on that. I've just been talking to both of the hospitals, and if you talk to the people on the front lines, they actually will tell you the wrong answer. So it's still being worked out. But what I can say is you can get snagged that you're there and nobody's going to talk to you because you don't have a HIPAA form signed. So just be aware of that one. And ultimately, when it comes to health care, my experience with my clients is that there needs to be a person with that patient through the process. And I first became acutely aware of this when I heard a presentation by a physician, an MD, who said, hello, nobody's managing your health care except for you. Nobody. And our older clients think the doctor's doing it, and they're not. Because they have 7 minutes per client, they're going from one to the next to the next to the next. And I will be with clients in doctor's offices, and they'll like rush in, they're kind of glancing at the chart, and then they'll look at us and they'll say, so what are we doing today? And I know, but they don't know. And it's not cohesive health care unless there's somebody following the whole process and keeping the whole process on track. We do that at Care Is There, but it could be, you know, an adult child, and they just need to know that it's up to them to keep track of the med list. It's up to them to know what test is being done. It's up to them to remember what we're doing here, because the healthcare system forgets. So we need, as people, to follow that process. So those are some things to keep in mind about medical care. About capacity, again, attorneys in the room will tell you more specifics about this than I can, but what I can say is when somebody starts getting a little bit forgetful, like there's something a little bit wrong, and you can tell there's something a little bit wrong, but it's not that bad, mild cognitive impairment. My dad has that diagnosis right now. You want to start thinking about the implications of that. You don't want to wait too long until things are really out of hand, because then you're talking about, you know, guardianship and going to court to get them declared not capable, and it's ugly. And even before you get to that point, with Alzheimer's disease, there's one of the results of that is people get paranoid, and they will routinely say, she's stealing my money, she stole my purse, where's my jewelry? Because it's just a symptom of the disease. It's what happens with the disease. So if you can get matters taken care of before that, before the disease starts taking over people's minds, then you're going to have a lot better luck keeping things on track. Expect family dynamics. That just happens. And there are mediators who can help with that a little bit, but you just have to know it's part of the process. And I think that families, should have somebody that they trust, whether it's a neighbor, whether it's a minister, whether it's, professionals like us, that is, on the ground monitoring the process to make sure it works. We do, background checks on people. You have to be a little cautious about somebody who's a little bit too interested. I did a presentation at the Senior Center Tuesday, and I told them, please don't get desperate and start, giving things away, hoping that, if I give you my house, you will take care of me for the rest of my life. Be proactive, but don't put yourself in those kinds of positions. So I think it's good to have somebody that's trustworthy, that's in there monitoring things that can keep the family informed. When there are elder care decisions, there are choices that need to be made. It's often around, where's mom going to live now? She can't live by herself. How should they be cared for? How will the care be paid for? And there's a lot of specialized services, and this is a lot of what I see in the Aging in Place Business Roundtable, that give you access to that. Things like choosing a living situation, downsizing and moving, or modifying your house. This is kind of, you can kind of see it up there. This just gives you almost like a laundry list of the kind of the services that are available that you may not be aware of. Senior move managers is a new little industry, people that help folks downsize and move to assisted living. Maybe they really need to move to assisted living. Maybe they're even willing to, which is rare. Maybe they're willing to, but how am I going to, move? What am I going to do with all this stuff? They get overwhelmed. There are people that specially trained to do that kind of thing for people. There's, we at CareCare, we do bill paying for people. Sometimes people just need a little something. It's not everything. It's just a little something that's keeping them from being independent, and we can kind of step in there and do it. There's, I put on here adult daycare. Sometimes just being able to take somebody over to Java for daycare is enough to give the family the room that they can kind of cope for the next day. So I wanted you to just be aware that this range of services is available, so that when your clients are in some sort of situation, if you're not aware of them yourself, there's a lot of things out there that you can kind of reach out to the people that are in the loop and give your clients referrals to some of these. So here's how you can do that. Referring clients to lifestyle services, I have myself written down there. And on the slide at the beginning, people have started to call me the resource of resources. They'll say, do you know anybody that, Elizabeth will know somebody. So I answer questions all the time for people that say, who is that person? Do you know anybody that does this? I share all that sort of stuff all the time for free. At my company, we sell people time, not information. So if there's something I can answer out over the phone, I'm always happy to do it. So you or your client should feel free to call me anytime and ask me, what do I know? I said, come to the Aging in Place Business Roundtable and meet people there, because there's all kind of different people doing all kind of different things. And, most of the major living centers are represented, and there's all kinds of different people there. And we have ourselves a really good time at that one, too. The Jefferson Area Board of Aging, our local area agency on aging, has a really good information and referral service. So if you call Susan Seidler over there, tell her I said call, and ask, what's available? Then she's got a great list. She's always staying in the loop, so call them. The Alzheimer's Association, if anyone who has dementia, who is experiencing dementia in their world, their spouse, their mother, their anybody, should go see the Alzheimer's Association. They have wonderful information there. They have great, they have training classes where you can learn, how does this go? How does it progress? They're high-quality courses. There are support groups where you could be with people that are in similar stages. They've just started an early stage, like a mild cognitive impairment type of class, where you can be with other people and learn about it. So, and they also can refer you to a bunch of people. Alzheimer's Association, great. They've got a 24/7 helpline, too. At the Caregivers Library, Cynthia Hash at Keller Williams Realty has taken this on to have a list of Every care provider in Charlottesville, that does anything related to seniors. That is the most exhaustive list that I know of in Charlottesville. So that kind of has everything on there. And CVilleSeniors.org is what I've started. It's a more interactive place where people can post events and share information about what's going on in senior care. So that's how you can kind of get involved. Contact me, like I said, with any kinds of questions that you have. I'm happy to share information. I also am a great collector of information. So if people say, hey, is there something like this? I might say, I'm starting to get a lot of questions about that, and I think I know the perfect person. I might want to start that up. Because, hello, as we know, with the baby boomers, like myself, aging, we're going to need some things that we don't have right now. And people are out there willing to start these things. So I'm just always collecting this kind of thing and encouraging people to start things that we need. So feel free to contact me there, and I'll do whatever I can for you. And then there's some information there about how you can, if you want to, subscribe to my newsletter. That just kind of keeps you in the loop with the new things that we're doing. On my latest one, I went and had my hearing tested and made a video of that so that people that have never had a hearing test and might be kind of like, I don't want to have a hearing test, they can watch me do it and see, oh, well, that's not so bad. I think I'll do that myself. So I'm starting to do more of that kind of thing. So that's that, right? So why don't we open up for questions and let me answer anything I can. What else I do? Yes, sir.
How did you get started doing this?
Yes. Well, I was at Dole, right? I was I had, I think, done my financial career. I think I had written the budget as many times as I could write the budget. And I think Enron had just happened, and Sarbanes-Oxley came along, and I said, you know what, I think that's as much compliance as I can really do in my life. And I was 42 years old, and I'd been really successful, and I thought, I'm going to do something else. And I wanted to do something where I could use what I had learned in business to really connect with human beings kind of at the heart level. So I said to myself, because I'm a business person, I said, well, okay, I want to make a business. What business do I think will work? Like how can I connect that? How can I do something that matters to people and also would succeed as a business? And I knew that where the population was shifting, I knew in Charlottesville it's a place to retire. I knew that there were probably people here that could afford private pay services, and so I just did it. I just started it, and as we went along, we evolved it. I just met with another geriatric care manager in Harrisonburg and brainstormed with her about how her business is going. So for me, it was a way to combine business with really being with people. I could do that a little bit in my executive job, but it isn't the same as being with the clients and the families I'm with now. You can change their lives. We had a client who we took her from being in her house and falling and lying there for days and everybody being worried about her. They brought us in. We went from there to the emergency room, to the hospital, to rehab, to assisted living, to the whole thing. And she died, I want to say 6 months ago. And her family thanked us in her obituary. I mean, that's how much it meant to them, what we had done for that family during that period of time. So it's the kind of work that I feel like really makes a difference in people's day-to-day lives. That's what sort of appealed to me about it. Does that kind of answer your question? Yes. What else? Yes.
How do you all charge for this?
We charge by the hour. I started this business as, I do it the way I want to do, and the way that I felt like would work is people pay us for our time so they can choose what they want us to do and what they don't want us to do. We charge $50 an hour to do what we do. If there's some part of what needs to be done that a companion agency can do for $20 an hour, then we bring in a companion agency that they bill at their rates. But I want to be able to say to my clients, here's what I think would make a difference in your life, and here's who I think are the most cost-effective, most quality contributors to that. Here's where we fit in these parts. And by the way, some of this, you could do yourself. It's not really rocket science, but if you're not here or if you don't want to do it, then we can do it for you. If this part you think, I'll do that. I'll hire, I'll interview all the aides and pick out the ones we like, then they do that. So we charge by the hour so people can choose how much they want to use us. Anybody else? Yeah, and part of the reason I do say families is because often the older people don't accept help. They will muddle through and they will do whatever it is that they have to do. But for the ones that do, then, we're their person. We're kind of their surrogate son or daughter. So we're doing everything that they would be doing, that if they had a son or daughter, we're the ones that are kind of taking that role. So I don't see a lot of folks that come to us and say, hey, do this for me because, they don't think they need it. It's typically the kids that say they need it. And at that point with the kids, we have a conversation. I'll usually say to the adult children, I'll say, okay, listen, you think she needs it, she thinks she doesn't need it, here's how it's going to go. When I meet her, I'm going to take her side over you, okay? Because she needs to really get on board with this. And so it's going to be something like, we know you don't need it, but she's really worried about you. Are you willing to let us come check on you once a week and, I don't know, take you to the doctor and do whatever just to make her happy? Okay, fine. So she'll do it, and then often she'll pay for it. But when it comes to an individual, it's really about building a relationship with them so that they feel comfortable having somebody else, no matter who it is, take some of that on. So that's what it is when there's an individual is making that relationship. That makes sense? What else?
Elizabeth, we want to thank you.
Thanks for having